The ceilings haven't been raised, and it's still too dark. And the furniture, it hasn't even been sanded yet.
What can I get you?
And this barmaid is still here. She was supposed to have been replaced. And the bartender's still wearing the same sloppy clothes. What in the realms has everyone been doing?
Oi, what can I get ya?
Alright, I think Lily's at least interested in the earnings for the week. Alright, the bartender explained he hasn't had a chance to work out the books yet. She's certainly not happy to hear that. It's been well over 7 days. Alright. Lily insists that he study a calendar and find the time to work out the books, lest she send him out on his ear, and repeats her instructions about the sign, the ceilings, the lighting, the furniture, the barmaid, his clothes, and manners, she reminds him. And they haven't even started making hot bites yet, just as well as she adds leavened bread to the recipe, just like Cyril used to make. Oh, and eyes of helm for 1 coin an eye. And she also exchanges 1 magical pair of boots for another, again at a slight loss. Another pair of red leather boots, the ones blessed by priests of Shandako. Lily feels so exhausted from suffering everyone's incompetence she can barely muster the warranted outrage at discovering that her tavern's 1 suite is still just a storage room. She won't even ask about the beast ball. No doubt they've made no progress. Lily informs Linu that she's about to try another pair of boots. Linu, remembering last time, jumps to attention with a smile, knowing just what to do, and helps her mistress into the new pair, steadying her as she gains her balance in the new footgear. As always, she doesn't sense anything, and so kneels and focuses her mind solely on the boots. Lily sees an older, fat man with a beard. He's in a boat. He's at the docks of a city. He gets a job as a bartender at a tavern. There are fights in the undercellars, and a woman is yelling at him about his clothes. It's the owner. It's an elf. It's her. Not her old worn-out boots. And she can't believe the bartender would dare to pass off his old pair of lousy boots as ones blessed by priests of Shandako. She'll have to have a word with him later. But for now, they need to report the letter from the people of the Eye to Fenthick. Linu holds on to her mistress's cloak and closes her eyes as Lily uses the stone. Back at the Hall of Justice, Linu appears to be getting used to being recalled, though no longer hiding behind her shield from Sergal's gaze. She certainly doesn't meet it, trying to ignore the old man, but still pulls her cloak about her.
Shut up. Okay.
Needless to say, Lily's hoping for a reward. Lily forbids Linu to talk about the eyes of Helm in front of the Watch Knight, as Helmites can be a sensitive lot about their god and his eyes.
Hello again, and well met as always. Is there something I may do for you?
Alright, Lily reporting to Fenthick and mentioning this note. I guess it's the 3rd one, I think, that she's recovered. Let me see. A traitor in Neverwinter. One who betrayed us at the Academy. This would explain much, Lily. Here's Dester. Everybody knew the Academy was being used to house the water-daving creatures Fenthick. Even the students themselves had heard the rumors. Actually, that's true. The attack was the result of gossip and loose lips from those Arabeth chose to trust instead of my faithful Helmites. We'll be wasting our time looking for this phantom spy. Rest assured that I intend to follow every lead in my efforts to find out who's behind the suffering of Neverwinter. Alright, telling Lily that she's done well to bring the note to him. Of course, she's hoping for some kind of reward. We're lucky to have a woman like you to help us in this matter. Please accept these 300 gold pieces as a reward. Explaining how it's very difficult to come by. I imagine you went through great trouble to acquire this evidence, Lily. I suppose for one who is as dedicated to our cause as you, I could spare another 50 gold pieces. And sure enough, Dester, warning him not to empty the city coffers. Yeah, alright. Lily has earned each and every coin. Alright. Go with the blessing of Tyr upon you. To Lily's disappointment, apparently no favors among elves. No matter. She's a cloak wizard now, and doesn't need his charity anyway. In fact, she's getting rather impatient to meet Lord Nasher himself. Perhaps at the ritual to create the cure. On the way out, Lily can overhear the nurse ask Linu for some kind of memento from the new ballad's heroine. A blushing Linu graciously offers a dahlia petal. Ridiculous. Outside, Nyatar is still standing beside his tree, but no animals are to be seen anywhere. He's certainly not going to blame her if they didn't transport here. It was his scroll, after all.
Greetings again. Nature welcomes you. I hope the day has held you in better health than those poor creatures in the Blacklake Zoo.
Alright, Lily mentioning that, yeah, there's been some progress in freeing the animals, except there was a slight tragedy. That is good to know. Truth be told, my animal spies have kept me informed. Uh-oh. I have felt it necessary to carefully monitor the creatures involved. All the animals were indeed freed, but the death suffered among those creatures has given this task a horrible end. At least only one of the animals was killed. That can be called a victory of sorts. Alright, sounds positive. Amidst everything else, there's a victory for life here. I want to grant you a reward for what was done, but you'll understand that I can't be too generous. This matter was not handled as well as it could have. Of course, she only wants ironwood. And of course, that was unusual because the conversation simply ended on a continue.
Greetings again. Nature welcomes you. I hope the day has held you in better health than those poor creatures in the Blacklake Zoo.
Yeah, so he was explaining that it sounded like he was intending to reward her with something. Just maybe not too generously.
Come on, lend me something for a day
Okay.
or two. I'm good for it.
Have to look into that. No favor in return whatsoever. Lily is furious. She thought there was at least some honor among druids. Obviously, she was mistaken. There are only two things staying her hand, or rather her familiar's bite. he has a pair of black leather boots she wants to try. And Linu claims that she can sense he's somehow protected by the gods and is virtually untouchable. Yeah, Nyatar's dialogue seems to be bugged, and his character is flagged as essential to the plot, believe it or not. So she wouldn't even be able to have Bones sink his teeth looking for a piece of ironwood, as she would have probably done otherwise, after trading for a pair of boots, of course. Lilly gives up hope on trying to obtain ironwood and decides to sell the club and dire mace.
Hail to ye!
Alright, Lilly, trading with Torgo. While trading at the mask, she hears patrons talking about more news from Everesca. Apparently, a little over a month ago, La'neral Silverhand, consort to Kelvin Blackstaff and namesake for the La'neral Tyr necklace, if you recall, arrived in Everesca with her sister Storm, after battling Feyrims and armies of bugbears and lizard folk thralls led by Beholder and Illithid generals assaulting the valley. Of course, Linu's glad to hear of the relief army's arrival in her homeland. Lilly wonders if Linu will ever be able to return home at all. Between the shadow shells she heard about the day she hired Linu, and now besieging enemies so large in number, it takes an army to break through. Poor little Red. Lilly wonders how the Blacklake bard is doing with her battle against the brandy. The door's open, which is a good sign, but there's a most malodorous smell. She must have come out with something not quite as pleasant as a song. At least she's awake and smiling.
I suspected you'd show up here soon. I'm glad to see I was right. So, shall we join up once more?
Or it looks like Sharwyn's probably feeling better. And come out with something she did, all over the left side of the bed. She apologizes to an understanding Linu, saying she tried to tidy up, and apologizes to her mistress as it went all over the ballad she was working on. She'll have to start anew. Even more things to throw into the junk drawer at the Office of Academic Affairs. Nyatar's scented fetish, a copy of the key for the Neverwinter Zoo, and Cyril's original Levin Brad recipe, though she'll likely be returning for the scented fetish if the need arises to speak with animals. And the recipe deserves to be in a vault all its own. Lilly is reminded why she normally doesn't partake of alcohol. The almond brandy all but muddled her mind, causing 2 already prepared spells to dissipate, find traps in Isaac's lesser missile storm. How foolish. She hadn't even realized. Luckily, they weren't even needed at the zoo. She'll have to be careful to prepare spells after any cause for celebration in the future. Where is Sharwyn and Bones? Their mistress returns and they're not happy to see her. They're playing in the hall. Lilly would get mad, but little Red is just too adorable. But gathers her senses after a moment and scolds them anyway, to come back inside as she needs to discuss something important with the rusty raconteur. Mechanical instruments, how to improve Nadul DaRoni's designs. Little Red talks excitedly about her ideas. More speeds for the drum, a longer neck for the violin, a crackless fiddle, and on and on and on. Lilly must not find musical instruments very exciting, because she admittedly had found it very hard to concentrate, especially given the speaker, and forgot nearly everything Little Red had mentioned, except about the longer neck, as She was admiring hers at the time. Bones is still playing outside. The Lady of Murder wonders if perhaps she's getting too soft. Not only for losing spells on account of drink, but having an undisciplined frolicking familiar and a coddled bard who doesn't write, as if she were the Lady of Charity and not Murder.